Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
It's the morning drive with me, Tim Elliott, here at Mira Business FM. Time to talk gold now. Jeff Rhodes is the CEO of Goldstrom Advisory. Jeff, let me just throw some figures at you. Last week, gold hovering between around about 4,600, 4,660, round about that. Those kinds of levels, few mini peaks and troughs. Tuesday, this week, gold hits a record high, $4,731.34 an ounce. Wednesday, 7:45 in the morning. This is the first thing I do when I come in the morning now because of you, and I'm blaming you. 4,842.57. That was 7:45 Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, 7:30, have a quick check, 4,792.87. This morning, round about the same time, 7:38, I genuinely make notes of this, 4,952.5 an ounce. So my question to you is, I don't really have a question, so I'm just going to hand over to you. What week?
It's been really an amazing period in the history of gold that we're all living through. I mean, I did this back in 1979, 1980, when gold had something similar to this, and we got to $850 in January 1980, but then went on a 20-year bear market. Okay. Eventually, that bottomed out in 2001 at just above $250. Now, that's not that long ago, $250, and we have been in a bull market ever since. But to see what's going on today is just incredible. You know, I thought I'd seen everything in gold, but clearly not. This is one thing, the great thing about the gold industry and about what I do. You know, I'm learning new things every day. It's seriously, and my business, you know, I consult people, I advise people about gold in all its various forms. But the biggest beneficiary of that relationship, I shouldn't say this on air, is me. Because I'm learning new things every day. There are new problems every day. And just seeing what's going on in gold, it's quite amazing. One would argue this has been something that's been brewing for a long, long time, because the amount of interest, amount of investment into gold, Tim, is still nominal. I mean, it's really important for central banks.
Yes.
And a central bank, the average holdings by central banks globally, probably around about 20% of their current gold and currency reserves. Around 20% is the average. In Europe, the French, Germany, and so on, and the US, we're looking at between 60 and 75% with the big four. But really, when you look at the pool of investment money that is available to go into gold versus how much is actually in there at the moment, I know you were going to look at try and find a number. My guesstimate is roughly 1% of the total pool of investment money is actually in physical gold in some way, gold, silver, not platinum and palladium, but roughly 1%. Now, the average that central banks hold is 20.
Yeah.
And the average number that I've always advised my clients is 10.
Yeah.
Just about 10.
That's the perceived wisdom.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
it?
gold is, give or take, Tim, $5,000 as we speak.
Yeah.
It hasn't rung the bell. It will ring it today. I'd be shocked.
You said that just now in...
we're off air. So
Off air, yeah.
I do think that now, if in fact the real amount of investments into gold should be 10% on average, we're at $5,000 with 1%.
Okay.
We get that 10%. Does that mean a $50,000 gold price?
The simple maths would dictate that.
Yes. Shock and awe.
Jeff, if it was $50,000 for an ounce of gold, your head would explode. So I do not want that in this studio. But it's funny, we were talking about this off air a minute ago, just having a quick chat. And so I looked up some figures for you, and you are exactly right. It's around about 1% of the estimated 266 trillion US dollars invested in financial assets globally. It take foreign reserve holdings from central banks out of that, but so you're exactly right there. World Gold Council estimates approximately 209,000 tons of gold have been mined in history.
Yeah.
That's where we are exactly. Most of that gold is obviously bars and coins.
It's all there, though.
But it's physically there.
Yeah, physically somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not that much.
It's really not. What was the quote? I remember a few years ago somebody saying all the gold mined, that 209,000 tons, would fit in a room this size. It's
no,
not quite. But putting it into context next to everything else,
I think
it's tiny.
Yeah, like it could be certainly in a soccer stadium, for example.
Yeah.
That would be good.
And if you look at on a global scale, that ain't much.
No, absolutely. No, it's not. And so much talk over my 50 careers doing what I'm doing. There's always been this chatter about the gold standard. Yes. And of course, back in the 18th century, 19th century, we did have a gold standard, which meant that currency rates had to be pegged to gold. So it really stopped the printing of money. Then we had the Great Depression in the US and I guess the world in the 1930s, and the link of the dollar to gold, the gold standard, was left then because they needed to print money to get the US out of the Great Depression. Yeah. Couldn't do that if you're pegged to gold because that limits your ability to print money. Now, I think we've gone completely the other way. And certainly in America, if they sneeze, they print money. And so it's just, that's gone far too far the other way. And there's a lot of disquiet and discomfort with the level of US debt that there is. And of course, it is only ever a promise to pay. Will you get your money if you ever want it? Yeah, probably. But it's still just a promise to pay. But gold is gold. It's that physical asset you just can't replicate. And
it's a good way to understand it. Because I grew up looking at banknotes with promises to pay the bearer the sum of so and so much, and I never really looked at that or examined that. But when you put it that way, that note or that coin is a promise. Gold is physically in front of you, and that's it. Kind of crystallizes the way we think. Do you know what I wanted to do this morning? Is just look back at the week because this has been. So I wrote like a little précis for you of what's going on, just to try and give this some context. So, gold and silver prices. We'll talk about silver as well. Record highs on Monday, but share prices fell. That's investors reacting to the tariff threats on the 8 European countries over the takeover of Greenland. Tuesday, gold jumps past 4,700 an ounce for the first time. Flight to safety. You would maybe surmise.
Yeah, it was definitely a flight to safety.
Wednesday, gold goes to 4,888. This is President Trump ratcheting up the pressure on the EU and NATO over Greenland. And then the EU kind of turns around and there are suggestions that a little bit of hardball is going to be played here, impact the tariffs on US imports, this trade deal. So this is in 3 days. All of this is going on. We're living through this, as you say. So the price eases back a bit. There are reports of an agreement between President Trump and the head of NATO over Greenland, although Denmark aren't sure, but it seems better.
It seems better.
Thursday, President Trump leaves Davos. The world is scrambling to piece things together. And gold, 740 this morning, 738, $4,952.50 an ounce. So Another week of kind of messy geopolitics. President Trump at the epicenter, as always. That's my précis. What am I missing? Am I missing anything here?
Well, first of all, I'd probably like to employ you, Tim, because you've just written my weekly review.
There you go.
Thank
Have that
you.
one.
No, you've done you've actually summed it up
That's where
very well.
where we are. Go on.
The thing that doesn't really fit with that précis is that the world today, on Friday, is looking a little bit better because there seems to be a bit of an agreement over Greenland. Okay?
It
So
seems
the
to be,
reason, if I completely agree with you, the rally to where we are now was really based on the geopolitics arising from the Greenland situation.
Yes.
Definitely. But that Greenland situation has definitely eased ahead of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have thought maybe time for a bit of consolidation, but there's no doubt that I'd be shocked if we didn't see $5,000 today. I would really be shocked.
It was my first thought this morning.
Yeah, I think so.
I looked at the screen and thought,
it will become the new. It will become the new pivotal level. Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. But as I've been saying, I'm very, very worried from a technical perspective because there is a gap on the charts between the close of the market in New York last Friday, which was about $4,600.
I'll tell you because I've probably got the figure here. Yeah.
Okay.
There or thereabouts.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It opened in Asia on Monday morning at 4,640, a gap between where it closed and where it opened. Yeah, you come from the UK. You've been on the underground system, and there's at the bank station. What does it say? Mind the gap. Okay. I'm saying to you now, Timothy.
Yes.
Mind that gap.
Okay.
I think there's a technical danger of a reversal back into that gap in the coming weeks. I do really. I think this rally, which is 15% from the end of the year of 2025. Okay,
it's 15% in 22 days.
In 22 days, 15%.
Yeah,
it's too much too soon.
Yeah, and you would think.
My end target for this year is 6,500.
Yeah.
I saw a colleague of mine, Ross Norman in London.
This is the guy from Metals Daily,
Metals Daily,
friend of yours,
very good friend of mine,
right.
Someone I highly respect. And he came out a couple of days ago and said he was being controversial. Outrageously controversial in calling for a high of 6,400.
I'm just going to blow your trumpet for you here because you're not going to do it. But back in, I think it was it the end of November? I'm pretty sure it was. I'll have the date.
Yeah.
Your call was what, Mr. Rhodes?
6,500.
There you are. So he's in good company. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it is, and it's good. Look, I think there's so much to talk about now, and also, as you say, silver is amazing. Everyone that's watching or listening, this time last year, silver was $28.
I said that to you this morning. It's
$28. I mean, it's up 300%. 300% in a year. I guess Bitcoin could have done that at some point in its history, but it's just incredible. But no shock to me. Really, no shock to me. I think now I'm looking at 150. I'm even thinking, is there any sanity in 150? Could it be 200? I think one of the US banks has called for $300.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, but It was one of the banks that began with M in the US. It might be Morgan Stanley or Morgan Guarantee, but
One of the banks
whoever.
that began with M. I love that. Just one of them, pick one. No, but yeah, fair enough.
But it was
Really calling for
$300, and I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe it. But certainly, I think $150, and it's amazing how much silver people have got.
Do you know?
That what's going to happen to all that silver? I think that's going to come into the market.
Well, that's interesting because, but what's even more interesting to me is if silver did get to $300, you would just be like, yeah, okay, it wouldn't be.
No shock.
Yeah, no shock at all.
No shock.
Yeah, I've just written that down, by the way. So 23rd of January, 2026.
I'm not predicting $300, Tim.
No, I know.
150 for sure.
No, but your point is, the 150 is your revised
Yeah.
total. But even if it was 200, could it get there?
Yeah.
Would it be a big? That wouldn't be,
Yeah.
a shock. I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
predicting it.
Look, the thing about silver, it is that industrial precious metal. It is the classic industrial precious metal. It started its life really as a monetary metal. Okay, it was money. It was the original money. They weren't gold coins. They were silver coins.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, 30 pieces of silver. I mean, historically.
Yeah, for sure.
I've always used that as a guide because, that was the equivalent. We won't go into more details of that, but that's historic. And so, the ratio between gold and silver at the moment is 50. It was a year ago, it was 120. So it's 50. I've seen it at 10. You know that. For those listeners and watchers, back in January 1980, and then through to March, gold was $850, right? And silver was $50. Gold fell back very quickly to 500, while silver was still around 50. It's 10 to 1. And so that ratio is something else to watch. But 50 to 1 in favor of silver, bit too much in my view. It should be around 65.
Okay. Do you remember last Friday? Your visits are now weekly to this studio, and it's always kind of a look back. And you said to me, so thoughts on the gold price for next week? And we said, so whoever's closest, buy you a cup of coffee or a sandwich, whatever it was. So not a bet, because we don't do that, of course. That would be foolhardy. But your thoughts were 44.50. And I, for some reason, came out with 45.52. And I was going to say I deserve a cup of coffee. But since we are so far off, I'm not even going to claim the coffee.
I know, that's...
it's just not what you thought 7 days ago.
Yeah, no. Listen, I think you're right on those numbers. I think probably $100 away because I was really thinking the gap.
Yes.
And you're right, but you definitely beat me. So fair dues. I owe you. I owe you a coffee.
I don't see that as a win, though, to be honest. But I'll take it.
I do see it. It's a loss for me. So good for you, Tim. So,
but it's just these extraordinary times, and we were talking as well about President Trump this morning, and not casting aspersions on his character or his policies, but the one thing again, and I think I say this every week to you, it's just that unpredictability.
It is. Gold is. Trump has always been bullish for gold. First time around, gold went up 90% under his tenure. Now, I mean, that looks like nothing. I mean, we're going to see gold under, as I say, during his tenure, is definitely going to be. It's going to be around 6,500.
Right.
So that is a big increase. Gold will remain in a bull market until and unless Trump ends his term in the White House. The thing that concerns me a bit, could he find a way of staying on?
Well, there's speculation about that, and a lot of people would think maybe it requires constitutional change in some way, and it does, or perhaps there are extenuating circumstances to avoid. I don't know.
Yeah, it
But,
could be.
yeah.
It could be the deputy president with Ivana as the president.
There you go.
That's something to think about, isn't it?
Ivana would be interesting.
Pres-
Ivanka, maybe. But no, look, that's 3
Yeah.
years away. But you make a good
Is
point.
it really 3 years? No, it's not.
Well, he's got 3 years left, so I mean, this is the other
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
President Trump's, I think, celebrates what, a year? Is it January the 26th? He was inaugurated. I think it is.
Yeah,
So
okay, yeah.
literally a couple of days' time. So
Yeah.
a lot's happened in a year.
Yeah.
That's the other side.
Yeah, a
Let me
lot's
just-
happened in the year.
Let me just run something else by you. So I said to you just now, because we're a little bit short on time today, unfortunately. Another week of kind of messy global geopolitics in lots of ways, but there are other things in the background that are bubbling here, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. Personal consumption expenditures data, the Fed's kind of inflation gauge. Traders waiting for that. Okay, that's now out. U.S. Fed broadly expected to maintain interest rates steady, despite
Yeah.
what President Trump wants. But there's also the Supreme Court skeptical about his bid to fire Lisa Cook, the Federal Reserve governor. So that's the independence of the central bank at stake. As you know, that's always there. That's all bubbling in the background here. What does that mean for the gold price? What does that point to?
I think one of the breaks on the gold price would be if interest rates were not cut. There's a general feeling that we're going to have 2 cuts this year, but a break on the gold price could be a reversal of that policy. I can't see that happening with a Fed that is handpicked by Donald Trump, because there's no doubt that President Trump is trying to influence the structure of the Federal Reserve, and I think that in itself is one of the key reasons behind gold's rally, that there is this extreme uncertainty about the relationship between government and the central bank in the US. And for the Fed, there's always been seen to be that steady hand on the tiller. For the Fed to be seen losing some control of that, now that is super bullish for gold.
Okay. So let's just recap briefly. We've got a minute or so. You would be surprised to not see $5,000 an ounce today for gold.
I expect it,
Of
yes.
course, you would expect that. That's fair. I know you expect to see a 3-digit silver price soon as well.
Today.
Last week, you were thinking, is there going to be a reversal here? Didn't happen, obviously, but then what a week it's been. We've said that a few times.
Tim, I'm glad you said silver and the reversal. Silver did reverse into its gap. Gold didn't. Silver did.
Actually, no, you're right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it got
fair,
down
fair.
towards 90.
It did get towards 90, yeah,
but it
okay.
filled the gap.
Yeah.
No, it's filled that gap, honestly.
Okay.
So silver is at $100. It's to the moon, Alice. Honestly, it is.
Oh, I love it. Just a very quick word on platinum and palladium as well.
Platinum,
we should.
all-time high. Yeah, it took a while, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2,650 as we speak, and the previous high was 2,500. So well into historic high territory. Much more to come. 3,500 this year.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Okay. Minimum.
Maximum 5,000.
Yeah.
Palladium,
I've
I
noted
think,
that.
it's lagging behind. But if I remember correctly, the all-time high for palladium was about just above 3,000, 3,010. Yeah, why not? Yeah, don't let's not leave poor old palladium out on a limb. Yeah, 3,050, 500.
It's not
as well.
it's not the weaker sibling, is it? It's just the younger
Yeah,
one, kind of.
yeah.
Okay.
It's called somehow the junior precious metal,
It
but
is, yeah. Not really.
not really.
All right then. We haven't got time to get into alchemy today, but I'm going to bring you the alchemy story. We'll chat about that next week. Unless, well, I mean, who knows what we'll be talking about next week? We'll probably run out of time because something else has happened. But for now, Jeff Rhodes, CEO, Goldstrom Advisory. It's always a pleasure. Good to see you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.